Hi, this is Roger in Finland, and today we're going to be testing different external microphones to go into the Zoom H1n. So for the impatient ones, we're testing 4 different microphones today to be plugged into the Zoom H1n. All of them do work. Rode SmartLav, Rode Lavalier Go, Rode VideoMicro, Deity D3 Pro. From these 4, the one that I think it sounds the best is this one. It's also the most expensive. And it has another drawback, which is it sucks batteries, because it does have a battery. The other shotgun option sounds really good at a fourth of the price, and it doesn't have any batteries. And the 2 SmartLavs are super practical because you don't need to fiddle with things outside. You can move around, they just clip here, forget about it, and they do sound decently enough. Right now I am recording with the Rode Lavalier Go. That's something that you can probably see that's hanging here, but you cannot distinguish it from the SmartLav, so I'm going to put captions to let you know which microphone I'm using. And when I use the shotgun microphones, I'm going to probably have them in the shot, both so that you can see and remember which one is it, and so that it's easy for me in post as well to remember which one I was recording in. You know what, before I go into describing the different use cases for the different types of microphones and how I think that they compare, why don't we listen them back to back so you can actually take a look and decide which ones you prefer the most. I'm going to share first with you a clip, each one of them back to back without EQ, just adjusting the levels, and then same clips back to back, but with EQ applied based on what my taste is of EQing these microphones. So let's get started. And also to have yet another comparison point, this is how the XY microphone of the Zoom H1n without anything plugged to it sounds. What do you think? This is the Rode Lavalier Go, and this is the Rode SmartLav. This obviously is the Rode VideoMicro, and this is the Deity D3 Pro. Once again, this is the Rode Lavalier Go, and this is the Rode SmartLav. This obviously is the Rode VideoMicro, and once again, this is the Deity D3 Pro. One question that you might have in your mind is, if you have the Zoom H1n and you want an external microphone and you don't have any yet, which route do you go? Do you go towards shotgun microphone like this or the lavalier microphones? Why would you pick one over the other? From these 4, in my opinion, the 2 shotgun microphones do sound better than the lavalier microphones, but I wouldn't make that as a generalization since they are really good and very expensive, which I obviously don't own lavalier microphones, and then I'm sure that there's worse microphones than these shotguns and much better. I'm talking about these particular 4. I think that the 2 shotguns do sound better than the lavalier microphones. However, lavaliers are so practical. You just clip it here. Now I'm having the Zoom H1n on the table because I'm just switching all the different microphones, but I can just lock it, block it, and put it in my pocket, which means that if I would need to move, I can do this because this is a really small place. But if you have a bigger set, or actually you have the need to move farther away from the camera, then the lavalier microphone is an excellent option because it's just on you and you can forget it. Then in the case that you're in a set like this is just a room at home, but anyway, lavalier microphone, it's easy because it doesn't use any space. You don't need any stands or any boom poles. Of course, one drawback is that it is visible. It's going to be here in your lapel. Sometimes some people like even to put the wind muff on top of the lavalier microphones, so it looks like you have a furry thing sticking out of your t-shirt. If that doesn't bother you, that's okay, and then you gain some space because you don't need to put a boom arm. On the other hand, these microphones in this setup, now this is not what I would use it normally because it's in the shot, and that cat is pretty big, so it's just in your face. So I would put it on a stand on a boom arm, which means that I can forget about it. It's outside of the frame, so it doesn't show at all, which is kind of nice. And then you don't have any issues with cloth rustling or if you're scratching a little bit or moving around. That's one of the drawbacks of lavalier microphones in general. That's something that you're not going to have a problem with these shotgun microphones. On the other hand, even in this kind of setups, if you'll have to really get closer to the camera or move around, you're going to see what happens if I do it with the shotgun microphone. Now I got really close. This is a Sony camera, so still autofocus nice. Isn't it nice that today I'm not using the Panasonic? But probably the sound is much different than if I'm sitting at the proper distance and placement of the microphone. If you like to do those kind of things, maybe the lavalier is better for you. But now that we have seen why you might want to choose either the shotgun route or the lavalier one, let's go and take a listen in the differences specifically between the SmartLav and the Lavalier Go, and then we're going to also compare these VideoMicro with the Deity D3 Pro. So the first one of the lavaliers that we're testing is the Rode SmartLav, and it's a microphone which is initially designed for phones or tablets, and that's why it does have a TRRS connection, the 3.5mm jack that can go straight into your phone if you still have a phone that has a 3.5mm jack, tablet or computer. If you want to use this microphone as I'm using it right now with the Zoom H1n or into a camera, then you're going to have to buy an adapter that will transform from TRRS to TRS. So maybe different use case, potentially a little bit more versatile, especially if I think of the price, because the price of the microphone and the adapter is cheaper than the Lavalier Go without any adapter. And if you want to use a Lavalier Go into a phone or into a tablet, then you're going to have to get the adapter from going from TRS to TRRS. So depending on the use case, you just need the microphone for most of your uses and an adapter for the extras, or the other way around. In any case, this one is cheaper. However, it does sound to my ears not as good as the Lavalier Go. But you're going to hear that one in a moment and you can give me your opinion. So how does the Rode Lavalier Go compare to the SmartLav that we just took a look at? Well, it is a bit more expensive, about 40% more. In my opinion, it does sound better. I'm a bit curious because if I look at the capsules, both of them look identical. I'm hoping that the price increase means that it's actually a better microphone and it does sound better in my ears. Or let's say that I think it needs less EQ to sound okay. And one clear thing is the usability. It's a simpler microphone. It just has the microphone itself and then a TRS 3mm, 3.5mm jack that then you can plug straight into the camera or straight to the Zoom H1n like I'm having it right now, compared to the SmartLav that, as you saw some moments ago, it has some more versatility, but it comes at the price of adding an adapter if you're going to use it in a camera or with the Zoom H1n or this kind of devices. So which of the two is a better option? If you're going to be recording in phones or tablets or even into a computer, then the SmartLav. If you're going to be recording into a camera, into a recorder, then this one, and this one sounds a little bit better. So now that you've heard the lavaliers, let's take a look at the shotgun microphones. And this is the Rode VideoMicro, and for good reason, it's one of the most popular microphones out there. It has been out for quite a while. It's fairly inexpensive. It covers around $50 euros. And I think that when it comes from value for money, that's one of the best deals you can get, really. Additionally, it comes with this, forgive me, dead cat, which is actually pretty good and big, and it works well to prevent wind noises when you're outside. Here inside doesn't do so much. I just had it on so that you can see it, but this is an accessory that comes with that price, and that's pretty sweet. Another nice feature of this microphone is that it's basically powered just by plugging it normally, so forget about batteries. The battery will not run out unless your camera or recorder run out of battery, but then you have bigger problems anyway, so that makes it even more practical. Included in the price comes this Rycote shock mount, which is another nice addition. Maybe not so useful, or it's not providing so much value if you're booming it indoors, but then you can easily place this microphone on top of your camera if you're vlogging or moving around, and then you do have the shock mount that is gonna pretty much get rid of any handling noise. Excellent value for money, and I think it sounds pretty good. I actually use this microphone as the only sound source for one short film with it, and I was just booming it in a normal microphone stand, and it was more than enough. Maybe a better comparison to this microphone instead of the D3 Pro would be the newer D4 Duo, I believe it's called, from Deity, but I don't have that one, so I'm just showing the microphones that I do have, so I can let you guys decide between these options which of them do sound better to your ear. But this is not going to be a straight comparison. With that said, let's get rid of the VideoMicro for a moment and let's go to the D3 Pro. Now, obviously, because you can see it, we have moved on to the Deity D3 Pro. This is now plugged straight into the Zoom H1n. And the first really big difference between the D3 Pro and the VideoMicro is that this one does have an analog gain knob that allows you to control the gain of the microphone. This allows me to put higher gain on the microphone itself, so I don't need to push the Zoom H1n gain so much to get a similar level of audio. This should translate into better audio quality, but you're gonna let me know your opinions, and I'm probably gonna make a summary after I get to listen to all of these different options as well. When it comes to price and functionality, comparing it to the VideoMicro, they're in a really different brackets. This does a lot more things. It's quite much more expensive. It does cost about 4 times what the VideoMicro costs. So this would be a direct competitor to the Rode, the Video Pro Plus, I believe. So these are more similar. Obviously, you can see that I do have different ranges for different uses, but I don't have another microphone that competes directly with this one. Still, it's gonna give you an idea of how this microphone does sound in comparison to the other one. In addition to the analog gain knob, this microphone has yet another functionality built in the microphone, and that's a low cut filter. If you heard some of my videos talking about the Zoom H1n, for instance, which does have a low cut filter as well, these are useful to reduce rumble noise. This could be traffic or your fridge if you have one close by, and those kind of noises. It's always nice that the microphone itself provides that functionality, especially if you run it straight into camera. That's something that is an advantage. This one does have an integrated rechargeable battery, and it's rechargeable via USB. It works in a fairly smart way. So it has a small LED that turns green when the microphone is powered on and properly working, and then it turns orange when it goes into standby mode, which then the battery lasts longer. The battery of this device lasts a very long time, which probably means that you're gonna forget about it, and sometimes it might give you the scare. So remember to keep it charged if you have one of these. But this is something that the users of the VideoMicro probably appreciate, that they don't have to care about battery power at all. Lots more functionality. Does it sound better or not? Please let me know. The battery option, it's nice that it's rechargeable, it's USB, and it's long time, but maybe not so practical compared to microphones that do not require a battery. One issue that I had with this microphone in the past has been RF interference. I don't know how this will be behaving today, but at some point I was using it or trying to use it with the Rode Go wireless thingies, and those caused interference. I don't know if it was that they were too close to the microphone or what. I have to do some more testing and make a proper review of this microphone, but that's something to take into account, especially if you can test it beforehand. I hope that today I don't have any RF interference, and now we're hearing this well, and I don't need to redo this video in a different time and place. And of course, I'm interested to hear your... For the first time ever since starting to shoot photos and videos in my first Nikon D3100 DSLR almost 10 years ago, my SD card got full while I was using it and while I was recording something. I'm not sure exactly where the previous video cut, so I might have to re-record something. Let's see how it goes. Second thing is that the fantastic LED of the Deity D3 Pro, that it's green when it's working and it's orange when it's on standby. Now it's red, which means that the battery is about to run out. So I think that it's time very soon to move on to some other microphone. And before doing that, I want to make a point that I was trying to make before all of my devices started to conspire against me, which is this video is not about a strict comparison between all these different microphones, the SmartLav, the Lavalier Go, the VideoMicro, and the D3 Pro. It's rather me showing you guys 4 different options of microphones and different styles of microphones for you to hear how does it sound recorded into the Zoom H1n in case you have such a device, the Zoom H1n, and you're considering to purchase an external microphone for recording into it. I'm still hoping that this is a useful video. Alright, and now we're back. I did take a listen to all the 4 microphone recordings, try to compare them a little bit, and I can say that in my opinion, and let me know your thoughts, this one is the one that sounded the best. It had this really boomy sound, which I kind of like. It has this radio voice to it, maybe a little bit too much, and that's something that probably you can cut a little bit in post, but otherwise is the one that needed the least, if any, EQ at all to sound good. The next favorite for me was the Rode VideoMicro. As said, that's why it's such a staple in the industry, and everybody and their aunts have one already, and it sounded really good as well. And it didn't scare me like this one that was running out of batteries in the middle of the filming. Never will happen with the VideoMicro. Still, if shotguns is something that you're not looking for because you don't have the need of having it mounted on the camera when walking around, or you just don't want to boom things up while you're in this kind of situation, or you just simply prefer a lavalier microphone, then we did take a look at the SmartLav and the Lavalier Go. They sounded pretty similar. The last time I tested them, I thought that the Lavalier Go did sound a lot better than the SmartLav. Today, not so much. I don't know if it's maybe because they are plugged in the Zoom H1n instead of something else, but they were comparable. Both of them did take quite a bit of work in EQ to get out and take away some of really nasty sounding frequencies in there, but after the EQ, I think it sounds like decently enough. Lavalier microphones, they have certain advantages. To me, they required more work in post. These two still sound fairly decent. I have actually quite a few of recent videos shot with a Lavalier Go. You can see it up here. And then these other two microphones sounded better. They have their own drawbacks, both of them, but I think they're excellent options to be paired with the Zoom H1n. But what did you guys think? Is this something that you will be considering in the future? I'm thinking about you, Zoom H1n users that don't have an external microphone. Will you be getting one? Are you going to be considering any of these? And which of them did sound best to you? I hope you find the video useful and you liked it. If you did, please like and subscribe. And we're going to see you soon for some more content.